Hi, I'm Brian Jordan, and you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
So I got a call that said, this is Susan Bailey. And I said, yeah, but I'm sorry, I don't know a Susan Bailey. She goes, I'm Henry Aaron's secretary. And I went, yeah. She goes, Henry would like to talk to you. I said, yeah, okay. And he said, how would you like to fly down to Sarasota and look at our pictures? And I said, I would love to. He said, well, when can you do it? Jokingly, I said, tomorrow. He goes, okay, we'll take care of that. I'll meet you at the airport in Atlanta. Susan will have the arrangements. And then I get on a plane with Hank Aaron and fly down to Sarasota. He offers me a job, and I said, well, what team do you want me to manage? He goes, no, he wants you to be a pitching coach.
Hi, this is Phil Necro. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Most guys throw it this way, put the ball back in here, hands come around, and these two fingers come into the ball, and stiff wristed, no follow throw, and just low up and goes in the bat and hope there's no rotation on. The ball comes in there and does a lot of different. It doesn't never do the same thing twice.
This is Kyle Wright, and you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
One of my favorite moments for your career as of right now is actually this past week. It was a show of confidence by Brian Snitker. He left you in the game after bases were loaded. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I went back and I saw that clip on Instagram several times. I'll be honest, I went back and I watched it numerous times. Kind of gave me chills a little bit. It was just really cool. I was kind of lost my command a little bit there. Still made some good pitches, but was definitely getting a little tired. So whenever he said basically left me in the game, I felt like that kind of gave me what I needed to get me over the hump to make a good pitch, get a ground ball back to me, and get out of that inning.
This is Matt Olson. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond. Yeah, it's a pretty cool experience. Not everybody gets this opportunity to kind of set up their roots and be somewhere long term that they grew up and have family and friends. So it happened pretty quick there in spring training, and it was just an opportunity that my wife and I and my family thought that we couldn't pass up, so just jumped on it, and it's been a blast.
Says, Chief, why don't you race Ralph Garr? I said, okay. Said, Ralph Garr wants to race you too. So we started on the first base line on the outfield line. We started, bam, took off running. I beat him by 3 foot.
Mike Will never cheer. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
I'm Kelsey Wingert, and you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hey, this is Andrew Jones. You're watching On Deck with Tyler.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. As always, I am Tyler Redmond. Thank you for checking in tonight. Really do appreciate it. What a win for the Atlanta Braves over the Miami Marlins. That's now 3 in a row for Atlanta. We're going to, of course, talk about that more as the night goes on. We're going to get into everything you want to talk about in the comments. We're going to talk about this one in depth because why not? It's a fun night. The Braves were able to come back in the late innings and beat the Miami Marlins. Well, we're going to talk about it all, but before we do, I need a favor from you. Number one, like this video. It really helps us get it out there. Share this video with your friends, and of course, comment down below anything that you want to talk about. And of course, as always, subscribe to the channel. We have a very special announcement coming up later on tonight that involves FOCO, so make sure to stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss it, especially if you're a regular watcher of this program. But while I got you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about our friends at FOCO. FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports merchandise, sports fan merchandise. They're all across sports, not just baseball, NFL, MLB, soccer, WWE, whatever you can think of, they pretty much got it. If you want something to represent your team, they got it. Our friends at FOCO are the place to go. Their link is down in the description below, and they actually just released these Atlanta Braves City Connect bobbleheads. This is, of course, what's concerning our announcement later on tonight, so you're not going to want to miss that. But again, those are our friends at FOCO. As you can see, those bobbleheads are Spencer Strider, Blooper, Michael Harris II, and of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. We'll, of course, have that announcement later on tonight, but hey, you're going to want to make sure you like the video and subscribe. That's a hint. So let's talk about tonight. Of course, Sandy Alcantara was on the mound tonight, and I knew from the beginning if the Braves were going to win, they were going to have to tack on runs in the late innings because Bryce Elder was on the mound. You got a young guy versus the reigning Cy Young Award winner. at the end of the day, the way that's going to shake out is more than likely going to be no runs up front, tack them on once you hit the bullpen. That's what it's usually going to be, and that's exactly what the Braves did. Matt Olson homered, Eddie Rosario got on base, Marcell Ozuna got on base in the late innings, Riley had a hit. Everybody was hitting tonight, is what it seemed like to me, and that's the kind of energy that the Braves are known for since, I would say, about 2019, that fight to the end mentality, and they showed it off tonight, and it led to a win. That is, again, their third win now in a row. They have one more game with Miami tomorrow, but from there, they certainly have the momentum headed into that game, especially being able to win with a guy like Bryce Elder on the mound. Now, a lot of people have talked about Bryce Elder's performance tonight. We're going to talk about that. He gave up 3 solo homers in the early part of this game to Sanchez, to Jazz Chisholm, and to Garcia. And I want to talk about that. Look, at the end of the day, he gave 1 up in the second, 1 up in the third, and 1 up in the fourth. That's how it went down. At the end of the day, the way I view that is this. He made 3 mistakes. He made 3 bad pitches that got hit for homers. The guys that hit them are also professional, hitters. They know what they're doing. I don't think this is indicative of what he's going to be throughout this year. Now, it's something to keep an eye on, but Bryce Elder has been lights out for the majority of this season. In fact, before tonight, he had a 1.14 ERA. He was 2-0 on the year, and that's through 23 innings. He had 23 strikeouts. So he was electric prior to tonight. Everybody's going to have a rough start. That's what I told you when the season first started with Charlie Morton, him struggling. Everybody's going to have a rough start. Everybody's going to have growing pains, even veterans like Charlie Morton, much less a guy like Bryce Elder, who's had minimal major league experience. He's been around a little while, but it's not like he's been around for years. This is a guy who's got to figure it out as time goes on. The Marlins came out swinging tonight. They scored early. Luckily, the Braves were able to get the last laugh. Now, if you're wondering how it all got started, the offense didn't really even they didn't get on the board till the bottom of the 6th, thanks to Ronald Acuna Jr. He homered, 442-foot shot, no doubt about it. You never felt like the Braves were out of it. And, of course, later on they have bases loaded. Grissom singles to left, knocking in Riley. And they only score 1 there. You think the momentum might be shifting back, but no. In the bottom of the 8th, Rosario tripled, knocking in Solak. Grissom singled to right. Rosario scored. Everybody was hitting. Even Ozuna got a run on the board tonight. He had an RBI. So I think this is good for the team as a whole. Now, when it comes to Ozuna, you're going to have your thoughts. I'm going to have mine. That's not really going to get us anywhere. But when it comes to Ozuna, I think tonight, if there ever was a time for him to get shaken up, for him to get going, it would be after a night like tonight, because he did produce. He did contribute to what the team was doing as a whole. And again, I'm not saying that this is all forgiven. By no means am I saying that. What I am saying is that 0.73 batting average looks a little better after tonight. It's 0.86. Now, that doesn't mean a lot. It doesn't mean anything, really, in the grand scheme of things. But if he can get his bat hot, if he can click into something that he hasn't had in almost 2 years, maybe more, then we may be getting ready to see something that's going to be very exciting for Marcell Ozuna. I say that to say, don't say that that's impossible, because it certainly is. With all the boos in the crowd, with all of the negative, I wanted to look at something just a little positive. You got to give him his flowers when he earns it. He did have a base hit in the early innings tonight, and he did have an RBI in the late innings tonight. We'll, of course, monitor that situation. If it continues to go on a downward trend, then, we'll go with that. He does have a negative WAR right now, if you were wondering. But, time will tell. That's all I really got to say about Ozuna. But at the end of the day, what a win for the Braves. Again, not a walk-off, but it had that same energy. It had that same feel. You always felt like the Braves could come back. They were down 4-0, and I was sitting there confidently thinking to myself, no, I'm not flipping it over to the Lakers. I'm gonna watch this, because I still think that the Braves can, 1, get to this Miami bullpen, and 2, hit them around. And that's what happened. Credit to Acuna, who homered, credit to Olson, who homered tonight. It was a good showing offensively. It really was in the late innings. I thought Bryce Elder, I talked about the negative with Bryce Elder today, but the positive is he locked in and he gave the team a chance to win. And you heard Glavine say that. You know, you heard, you saw him on the mound. You saw him lock in the 5th and 6th inning. No runs were scored after the 4th. But it's a major league roster. They're going to hit sometimes. But for him to lock in, for him to be able to give the Braves a chance to win, even when he may or may not have his best stuff, that's what's going to make him good come October. And that's what's important. Now, a lot of people are going to hint at the fact, well, if Elder can't match up to what we need him in the starting rotation, maybe Soroka can. I don't think Soroka is close. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you otherwise, and that's fine. But hear me when I say this. As much as I would love to see Mike Soroka come back to the majors, I think we got a whiles away. Now, if he does, then feel free to criticize me in 2 weeks if he's back. But I think he may be 2 weeks to a month away. That's even from being ready. Now, he's pitched great in the minors, but there hasn't been a ton of innings pitched, and that's the difference. He's got a total of 13 innings pitched. He does have a 1.3 ERA in Gwinnett, but again, the stats to me go out the window when you're talking about Soroka. I don't care if he has a sub-1 ERA. I want to make sure he's going to be healthy. I want to make sure he's going to be able to last throughout the season. Or if we bring him up and he gets hurt again, what's next? I want to make sure he's going to be ready, and he's doing everything in his power to prove that he is. But again, something will happen, some opportunity will come, and Mike Soroka will seize the day. But until that happens, I'm not going to comfortably come out and say, I think Soroka's coming up because Bryce Elder had one bad start. I don't think that's the way this works. That's not the way it works with Bryce Elder, Charlie Morton, Spencer Strider, Max Fried, anybody. It does not matter. Kyle Wright, none of it. Now, you could have a little bit more flexibility if you were talking about the bullpen, but again, that's the opportunity has to open up. If somebody was to get hurt right now, I think Soroka would be the guy the Braves went to. I'm not going to lie to you about that. I definitely think that would be their backup right now, if all else were to fail. But with a rotation that consists of, again, Max Fried, Spencer Strider, Kyle Wright, Charlie Morton, and right now Bryce Elder, who in the grand scheme of things is looking pretty good. He still has a sub-2 ERA even after tonight. I think they're in good shape as is. Now, could they go to a 6-man rotation later in the season? Potentially. I don't know that that's necessarily in the Braves' plans. I don't think Brian Snitker is sitting there going, if we had 6 starting pitchers, we'd really be doing something. No, they're really doing something right now. The team has been phenomenal in 2023. The pitching staff has been one of the strengths, at least in the starting rotation. The bullpen has been rocky, but that's because of all the injuries in the starting rotation. You've seen, even when Max Fried was hurt, and Kyle Wright at the same time, the Braves were able to win. Now, you can credit that to the offense, you can credit it to the pen, but that shows how important that starting rotation is. And right now they have a solid 5 to go in each and every day. So we'll see how it goes. Soroka's going to get an opportunity at some point, but I don't want you to every game be thinking, well, if Bryce Elder can't do it, Soroka's here. He's pitching really well in the minors. Yes, but we want to get Soroka some innings, some time put in the minors. Speaking of the minors, Michael Harris actually made an appearance in Gwinnett tonight, so he is on his way back at some point. I haven't seen an update of what he did. I haven't seen a stat line for tonight or anything like that. But the important thing is that he is swinging the bat, he is fielding, and that's really all we can say. But no, Michael Harris is I think one of the most important parts of the Braves' offense and defense. I think defense is a little bit more obvious there. But in the interim, Sam Hilliard's been great, no doubt about that. But I do have a concern with Hilliard. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't have this concern until the other day. And my dad, of all people, brought it up. Sam Hilliard comes from the Rockies. He's a career .217 hitter. And again, we're talking about the Rockies, Coors Field. I do think that at some point you may see a drop-off. And that's not even because of the history. That's more just because no one could hit like this for an unlimited amount of time unless you're a great. And I don't know that he's that. Now, with all that said, he's had a great start to the 2023 season. I hope it continues. But I also don't believe that it's necessarily going to be as good as it has been over the past couple of weeks for 162. Now, that all said, I know we talked about Ozuna earlier. I'm going to bring him back up here. I'm at the point now where I am okay with Michael Harris in center, Ronald Acuna in right, and Sam Hilliard in left, and let the cards fall where they may. Eddie Rosario's bat's heating up. I love him off the bench. I think he could thrive off the bench, similar to what Orlando Arcia did a couple of years ago once he was removed from the starting lineup and put in a bench role with the Braves. Similar to A-Ray Adrianza. I think bats like that are a valuable commodity no matter what team you are, but especially a team like the Braves, who who you're putting out there every day. You know the starting lineup. You know everybody is solidified. But if you can get those bench bats to come in when needed and do what they do and perform, in clutch moments like they've been able to do in the past couple of years with some of those guys I mentioned, I'll even throw Pablo Sandoval in that mix, because why not? But if you get those bats, and I believe Eddie Rosario is one of them, and if Vaughn Grissom is meant to be the future, Orlando Arcia, the Braves are at least planning for him to be that because they've signed him for the next 2 to 3 years. So that's what the Braves value. Now, is Eddie Rosario that? I don't know, but we'll see over this year. If he's not going to start in left every day and you're paying him $9 million, he's got to do something. Now, that said, I could say the same about Marcell Ozuna, but right now I think that's a completely different situation. But no, I think ultimately tonight showed us that this Braves team can win under losing circumstances, I think the important thing to take away is that they never quit. And I know that gets said a lot, and rightfully so, but it's true with this team. It has been true for a number of years. They never quit. You never feel like the Braves are just out of it unless it's, a 10-run deficit or something, but they're still going to fight. If they're down by 5, I still feel like the Braves can come back. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just the way I feel. And tonight, I got invited to go watch the Lakers tonight, and I said, no, I'm going to stay here and watch the Braves because I feel good about their chances in the late innings. Sure enough, we get into that bullpen, and the Braves start hitting. And look, you're only going to hit so well against Sandy. That's the way that goes. He's the reigning Cy Young Award winner. He's a phenomenal pitcher. Acuna managed to hit a homer off of him, but other than that, it wasn't really happening tonight. That's going to happen. You're going to run into those guys. When we face the Mets, you're going to run into Verlander. You're going to run into Scherzer. But what happens after their 6 or 7 innings is up, right? What happens after you've worked on their pitch count and had good at-bats and had 8 pitch at-bats and worked on their pitch count and got them out of the game? What happens when the bullpen comes in? That's what's important. That's what happens in October. That's what happens in postseason moments, and that's the kind of thing that's going to prepare this team for the 2023 postseason run. Now, that all said, I really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Thank you for letting me ramble. We are going to talk to you, too. Here in a second, we are going to go through the comments and make sure your voice is heard. But before we do that, I want to remind you to please like the video. It really does help us out, and I guess now's as good a time as any to go ahead and do this special announcement. I told you earlier about our friends at FOCO. Now, FOCO is a partnership with On Deck now. That is official. They just dropped these City Connect jerseys, or City Connect bobbleheads with the City Connect jerseys, featuring Spencer Strider, Blooper, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Ozzie Albies. These bobbleheads are, for one, well made. I just thought I should mention that. I have a few myself. They are well made. They do not break. And I'll be honest with you, I have some of these. I have some of the ones that the Braves give away. Guys, these are better. They're not mass produced, so there's more care taken into the design. And ultimately, I think you would be very happy when buying this. Now, the reason I tell you that is because this is the special announcement. We are partnered with FOCO to do a Atlanta Braves City Connect giveaway. That's right. We are giving away one of these bobbleheads on your left, Spencer Strider, Blooper, Ronald Acuna Jr., or Michael Harris. That's your choice. If you are the winner, that is your choice. Now, if you win, this is how you do it. You have to follow at FOCO USA on Instagram. So if you don't have Instagram, I'm sorry, but you have to follow at FOCO USA. You have to like this video. That goes without saying. And of course, you have to subscribe to this channel. The way we're going to pick it is you have to super chat, and from that list, we will pick a winner later on in the show. So super chats, doesn't matter the value, it's just to narrow it down. That's how you get entered into the contest. I will just randomly pick a super chatter to win. No criteria with that. I'm just going to randomly pick one. I don't know any of you, so it's. I promise you I'm not showing any favorites. But that is how you win. You like this video, subscribe to the channel, and go follow at FOCO USA on Instagram. Now, I really do want to encourage you to do that because, again, FOCO has great stuff. We're going to be doing YouTube giveaways just like this one all season long, and you're going to want to make sure to keep up with it. So subscribe anyway. We do great Braves content. We do great MLB content, and we're going to be able to do these giveaways all season long. Our friends over at FOCO have been great so far this season, and I can only expect them to keep up the great work. If you need an example of what these bobbleheads look like, this is one they sent to me for spring training. Again, very well made. The base is solid. It's heavy. It's again just very, very well made. All bobbleheads are made to this level. So just something to keep in mind. But look, all you need to do really, if you're not interested in any of what I just said, go check out the FOCO link. Their link is down below. They got a whole archive of just Braves stuff. So go check it out. And as always, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into what you guys want to talk about. And we got a big night tonight. But let's see. Philip Nichols says, what a win. Yasuki Knight says, good win for the Braves tonight. Robert says, go Braves. Robert Blackman says, Braves win with exclamation points. James Franey says, big comeback. SoFlo says, congrats on beating the Marlins again. I appreciate that. I appreciate the word again in that sentence. Bill Gates says, Ozuna. The Braves lose without Ozuna. The haters can eat. Yeah, I mean, he had a good night tonight, but, I mean, you got to give him his flowers, but I need to see some more consistency. I will say that. Matthew says, hey, Tyler, what's up with that last Hilliard at bat? Has a 3-0 count with runners in scoring position and Acuna coming up next. The pitcher throws 3 strikes. I assume you're meaning down the middle. He's got to at least make contact. A sac fly is another run. Yeah, sure. If I'm not mistaken, he was facing a lefty there. If I'm not mistaken, he was facing a lefty. So just keep that in mind. I don't deny that he needed a better at-bat, but everybody has a bad at-bat occasionally. I mentioned the drop-off. He's hitting like, his stats right now are never going to be able to live up to expectations. So just keep that in mind also. When it comes to Hilliard, I like Hilliard. He's a great fielder. He's a great player. But at the end of the day, he's a player. He's going to have bad outings. He's going to have bad at-bats sometimes. I don't even think it was a bad at-bat. I think it was trying to be a patient at-bat, maybe a little too patient at the plate. Because if he gets walked, you're talking about having Acuna at the plate with bases loaded and you've scored another run. When given 3-0 in that spot, you don't know if the coaches are telling him to take. You don't know what the situation is. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying there's a lot more that goes into these at-bats than we really get to see. But no, not a bad question. I don't necessarily disagree with it. I just want you to realize, players are going to have bad at-bats. The important thing is the Braves are able to come away with the win tonight. Bent Sands says the Mets are about to lose. That's always music to my ears. Let's go ahead and get a look on that score. They are... Ooh, nope, it didn't pull up for me. Let's see, Mets score. Oh, it looks like they already lost. The Nationals beat the Mets today. Always love it when a division rival with the quality and the prestige of the Washington Nationals, the 9-14 Washington Nationals are able to beat the New York Mets. That's always a good day, especially when the Braves win. If you're wondering, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. I actually haven't had a chance to look at it. The Mets are now 3 games back, and of course, they will, I assume, play the Nationals tomorrow. The Braves will play the Marlins tomorrow. So we'll see who comes out on the better of that. But once those series are over, the Braves are on the road in New York taking on the Mets. That starts on Friday. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m. So you're not going to want to miss that. That'll be the first series between the Braves and the Mets this season. Let's see. Oren says, huge win. I love the small ball approach we use. Yeah, you did. I mean, you saw Olsen homer, you saw Acuna homer, but those are only, solo shots. I thought what was really nice was to see people hit the ball the other way and, get through the infield. And a lot of people were getting on the shift. A lot of people were complaining about the shift, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm looking at it right now, the way I view it is this. Do I agree that Major League Baseball should be treated like it is treated right now? No, because these are professionals. They should be able to hit it the other way. But when you, as an organization, have this constant problem of a 3 outcome at bat, you do have to do something. And I will admit, it's made the offense better. It's made it a little bit more enjoyable to watch. And, I'm not even saying anything, I don't think, radical right now, but we're talking about, hits that are behind the first baseman, but that's not even what I'm talking about. But like a hit up the middle is a hit again for the most part. That's nice to see. Let's see. Columbus High Blue Devils baseball. Now, I know nobody else in here knows who this is. Columbus High is actually about 5 minutes that way from me. I covered baseball for them the other day. Thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Glad you guys were able to win the other night. They advanced in the playoffs, so everybody give a congrats to the Columbus High Blue Devils. Thank you for tuning in, though. By the way, the high school and home of Hall of Famer Frank Thomas, who I actually recently met and interviewed up in Auburn when he got his statue placed. But yeah, his number is retired at that field. Again, Frank Thomas. So that is their claim to fame. And of course, they have plenty of state championships behind them as well. Mad Bamp says, Tyler, people keep talking about releasing Ozuna when Harris and d'Arnaud come back. Why would they eat all of Ozuna's contract when they can just send Eli White and Chadwick Tromp to the minors? They are bad too. Now, I'm part of the crowd that's hinting at the fact that once d'Arnaud and Harris come back, Ozuna could be let go. And the reason is you're talking about eating that contract, but you'd essentially be paying Ozuna to walk, right? Which sounds bad. I'm not necessarily for it because you are losing millions of dollars in that sentence. But Eli White and Chadwick Tromp, Chadwick has options. I'm sure Eli does too. But my point is, they're not costing you a ton. It doesn't really matter if they hang around. They're also not a distraction. And I say distraction, I'm not even really referring to Ozuna when I say that anymore. Last year was different because it was an off-the-field distraction. This year, there's been nothing yet to give us any real indication that he's a clubhouse cancer or anything like that. He's all smiles. It's never been anything bad this year. Now, that said, it could be that the Braves have wanted to do that for a long time, and this is the opportunity, the sample size in the season, that they've said, okay, Ozuna, if you're going to show us what you're going to show us, you're going to do it in this amount of time. And it may just be that when Harris and d'Arnaud come back, it's convenient to finally let Ozuna walk. Now, am I for it? Not necessarily. Am I against it? Not necessarily. I would more be an observer in that case. I wouldn't have a strong opinion. I wouldn't be mad at them because I can understand it. Regardless of how you feel about the booing in the crowds, it's been a constant issue, and so much so that Joe Simpson's addressed it. You hear it on the nightly broadcast. The Braves don't want that out there. And they're not going to go after Ozuna. They're going to, Joe Simpson criticized the fans the other night. But my point is, they're not going to want that bad PR. They're not going to want that negativity just hanging around all season long. And if Ozuna is not going to contribute at some point and turn it around, then they very well may pull the trigger. Is it right? That's for debate. But that's the way I view it. It's a good question. But, Chadwick Tromp, Eli White, Eli White has had far less at-bats than Ozuna. They put Ozuna in there pretty religiously unless it's a righty pitch-in or whatever the case may be. They pretty much let him hit. Eli White, not as much. Is Eli White good? He's not Sam Hilliard good. Is Chadwick Tromp good? No, but Chadwick Tromp's going to go because d'Arnaud's coming up. It's going to be likely between Marcell Ozuna and Eli White. And I don't have Eli White's stats just pulled up where I can readily look at them. But before tonight, I can tell you that Marcell Ozuna had a negative .9 WAR, 2 homers, and an .073 batting average. I'm not really willing to come out here and just defend that, especially when you remember when Donaldson was struggling in 2019, at the beginning of 2019. If you don't remember, let me remind you. He was struggling so much that Riley had caught up to his amount of homers in the first month that Riley was there. That was in May, okay? He had like 19 or 18 or 15. I don't even remember what it was. But Riley had surpassed it. And Donaldson kind of got into a slump. We heard through the broadcast that Donaldson has been taking time with Seitzer, on a pitching machine, working on the off-speed away or whatever it was, and we saw the development. It's been 2 years of watching Marcell Ozuna do the exact same thing over and over again. I'm telling you right now, if I'm pitching to Marcell Ozuna, he's not seeing a fastball. I'm giving him 3 off-speed pitches, low and out of the zone. I might as well bounce him up there because that's what puts him away. And the book is out. We haven't seen him, or even heard of him trying to improve it. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I'm just saying it's hard for fans in a general sense to root for somebody that they don't see improving. And especially when you throw in the off-the-field issues, regardless of how you feel about it, that's going to get fans riled up. Don't give fans a reason to boo you. And Ozuna, unfortunately, has given them 3 reasons. Off-the-field issues, bad on-field performance, and a big salary. So when you do that, fans are going to be vocal about it. You can't control what 50,000 people in a stadium are going to do. But in terms of what I think between Marcell Ozuna and Eli White, I'll be honest with you, when it comes to that low of stakes, I don't really care. I don't think it's necessarily worth debating who should stay, who should go. But I don't think the Braves are throwing away money at that point either. I think they're almost paying to put somebody else in that spot. I think that's the way you got to look at it. Don't look at it like we're paying Marcell Ozuna to leave. We're paying Ozuna to exit stage left so we can place somebody else who is going to perform in that spot. Because I want you to think about it. What is Ozuna giving you? I just told you he's got a negative WAR. He's got an .073 average. He's not fielding. What is he giving you? And I think when you think about it that way, you realize he's also not only not doing anything, at the same time, he is hurting the team. He is taking away from the team. And I don't know how long the Braves are going to want to deal with that. Now, we'll see, but that's how I feel about it. Sorry for the long, rambling answer. We do have 2 Super Chats tonight. Remember, Super Chats do get you entered into this contest. Again, we're going to just randomly pick a winner, and I'll get your information. I'll tell you where to send your information to so that we can get you that bobblehead shipped to you directly from FOCO. But Joseph Alvarez is the first. He says, do you think Ozuna can turn it around? Well, this is basically a continuation of what we're already talking about, so I'm glad I caught this. Ozuna, do I think he can turn it around? Yes, I do, because I've seen what he can do when he's at his best. It's a matter of willpower at that point. Now, does he have it? I don't know. I can't speak to that. I'm not him. I'm not in the clubhouse with him every day. I don't see that. The Braves obviously see something. Otherwise, they would have cut him a long time ago. So they see something. They see some kind of willingness to, at least he shows up to work every day. I don't know what they see. I'm not there. I wish I was. But do I think he can turn it around? If you don't believe he can turn it around, just go check out his 2020 stats. I mean, we know what he can do when he is on. He can carry a team for at least 60 games. I mean, the dude was, again, not only competing for the most homers in 2020, competing for the Triple Crown in 2020. He was probably, it was Freddie and him for the MVP that year. So at the end of the day, do I think he can turn it around? Yes. It's a matter of will he? And should we continue to allow him more and more chances? Because if you're always going to give somebody chances, why would they improve? Because at the end of the day, he's still getting paid. right? And I think if you look at it that way, you may find your answer within yourself. For me, I think he can turn it around. It's a matter of will he. Tonight's a good first step. Two hits, I think, at least a hit and an RBI. So that's a good step. But we'll see over time where it goes. I would like to think he can turn it around. I would like to think he could be what he was in 2020, even what he was in 2019. I'll take it. Just a consistent bat. Fairly consistent bat with some power. The 2 homers are nice, but when, combined with a 0.73 average or now a 0.86 average, it doesn't look like much. I mean, you're not even hitting 100, and we're in the end of April. I think it's easy for fans not to root for him. I root for him because he's under the Atlanta Braves umbrella. I'd like the Braves to win because it means more of you guys show up here, for one, but two, that's my team. But it's easy for casual fans to just, well, that's Ozuna. Regardless of how you feel about it, that's what fans do. So I hope he can. I really do. The other Super Chat, and again, Super Chats do get you entered into I guess, I don't know what we're going to call this, but I'm just going to randomly pick one of you to win. Remember, though, for one of you to win, you do have to follow at FOCO USA, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. Super Chat as well. That will get you entered into I guess, just a chance to win one of these bobbleheads. Again, you can choose between Spencer Strider, Blooper, Michael Harris, and Ronald Acuna Jr. We will continue to partner with FOCO throughout 2023 to give you more giveaway opportunities. You're not going to want to miss it. They got some exciting stuff coming up that I can't tell you about yet, but I can't wait to. The second Super Chat is from Nick Nodelman. He says, Grissom has a special bat, has to be our left field or shortstop next year, looking more like left field. I think I might have been the first to bring up Grissom as left field last year because of all of the problems with Ozuna and even Rosario last year with the eyesight issues. I think I may have been the first. I know I put a video out there about it. And I genuinely think that could be where they go. And a lot of people are going to shake their head at that. No, he's been an infielder his whole life. But he's built like an outfielder. I mean, he looks like Dave Justice. And I'm not saying that's what's going to make him an outfielder. But he obviously hasn't been able to adapt to the infield at the major league level. His bat's plenty good enough. I don't mind him being a DH if we didn't have plenty of bats already. He's got to be able to field. And I think a lot of people, he is a shortstop by trade, but a lot of people just assume because Dansby's gone, he fits like a puzzle piece into that spot. But it doesn't always work that way. And when I look at Grissom, I see an outfielder. I'm not going to lie to you because, with all of the errors in the infield, I think he had 3 in one night not too long ago. I saw them in spring training. And I told you that's when I made up my mind about don't be surprised if Orlando Arcia gets that job, at least on opening day, at least to start the season, because he's not ready defensively. And I felt strongly about that. A lot of you guys let me know how you felt about it. You didn't agree with me. But it's not a knock on Grissom. Grissom is young. He's got plenty of talent. Again, his bat is there. There is no doubt about it. But there is a reason he works with Ron Washington on a regular basis. There is a reason the Braves sent him in the offseason to go work with Ron Washington. It is because it is a necessity in that position to have defense. I don't know if he's got it. One guy that I do know has got defense locked down is Orlando Arcia. Now, again, we've talked about this so many times throughout this season, and I think it's going to be a topic that we have really throughout this season. But there is a reason that Orlando Arcia got the job, and you're seeing it now with the errors. Now, it hasn't been such a problem where it's just so bad that we got to end it now. It's nothing like that. But it is a problem where if it continues, you're going to continue to notice it. And if it ends a game, hopefully that doesn't happen. If it were to end a game like that on an error by Vaughn Grissom, what does that do to his psyche? What does that do to fan reaction? Not that should matter, but it does. What does that do? And, I think when you think about it that way, you're realizing it it could drastically affect his future. Defense is, again, at shortstop, a necessity. In terms of outfield, I think giving him a shot in left field, I mean, Riley did it. It's not changing much. You're just backing up, 80 feet, give or take. But I don't think it's changing much, but I'm also not a professional in the sport. Ron Washington, if you've ever seen Moneyball, Ron Washington's actually in that. He's obviously not in it himself, but he's a character in that. And they say something along the lines of, playing first base isn't that hard. You can play first base. Tell him Wash, and Wash goes, it's extremely hard. So I'm saying it's not that hard, but the experts may completely disagree with me. It's a lot more ground to cover. It's a lot more of that. But it's not like Vaughn is slow. It's just, I don't know if his reaction time is there. Now, can that improve? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Does that mean he's solidified in left field? Absolutely not. But we'll, of course, monitor it and see how it goes. It's not a bad question. I've asked the question myself. So, Nick, not a bad question. Now, those are both Super Chats. Remember to Super Chat to get a chance. Again, it does not matter to the value. Just matters that your name is on a Super Chat to enter a chance to win one of these bobbleheads from FOCO. Again, we are partnered with FOCO throughout this year, and I'd love to give you a bobblehead. You can choose between Spencer Strider, Blooper, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Michael Harris. Remember, Super Chats are the way to do it. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to pick up right where we left off and go to Bill Gates. And he says, Ozuna has a higher ceiling than anyone except Travis. Remember last season people were saying bench Ozuna, but he became the best left field option late in the season. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember that. But that was, we're going to talk so much about Ozuna this year. I already know it. And if, the day comes that they do release him, we're going to talk about it all day long. I'm going to do a 12-hour stream probably on this. But we could talk about Ozuna all it is. I don't deny his ceiling. When you look at Baseball Savant, and you see the hard hit percentage, especially last year. He had like the hardest hit ball of the year last year, but it was a foul ball or it was a pop-up, but it was like 112 off the bat or something crazy like that. And I don't deny the ceiling, but if you're guessing at the plate, what are we doing here? And I mean, that's just the way I feel. I need to see some results. I'd like to believe that, the MVP Ozuna is back, but we got a while before I believe that, if I'm honest with you. Joseph Alvarez says Mike Soroka is not ready. Michael Soroka, Joseph. Michael, don't forget. Soroka is not ready. I think he should come back in August, maybe September. Take your time, buddy. Yeah, can you imagine if he were to come back in September and we go into the playoffs with all five of the guys that we have now, Fried, Strider, Wright, Morton, Elder, and then you throw in a monster like Soroka? Yeah, I'm just saying, and catch everybody off guard. I'm just saying it would be quite magical if that were to happen. We'll see. We will see. Let's see. Bent says Soroka is going to be the key piece in the postseason. I think so too. I think he's going to catch a lot of people off guard, and I wish I could flag this some kind of way so I could pull it up where I can, go back to it and show you guys a clip that I said this 6 months ago when that happens. Blake says Pilar and Hilliard platoon, allowing Vaughn and Arcia to platoon short, allowing Murphy, Darno to platoon catcher, mix in others at DH as well, of course. Well, I think that's kind of what they're doing, I mean, you didn't include Ozuna in there, I don't think. No. So, Pilar, Hilliard, and left, I don't mind at all. Vaughn and Arcia platooning short, I don't think that's going to happen because it hasn't happened. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I prefer Grissom's bat over Ozuna's bat right now. I don't know if I'm going to feel the same way in a month. I'm just saying as of right now, that's how I'd feel. But I think that's kind of what they're doing with the exception of Vaughn and Arcia. What's going to be interesting is when Arcia is healthy, what are they going to do? That's what I think is going to be interesting. Let's see. I'm not going to be able to stay on here much longer, guys, so make sure to get your comments in. Remember, Super chats do get you entered for a chance to win a FOCO bobblehead. So just remember that. Also, if you haven't already, please like the video. That does help me out a ton. And we're going to be here late, so please do that. Chris Kaysen tunes in. He says, "Go Braves." He says, "I can see a way where Snit sends Ozuna down to AAA to give him a wake-up call. They're going to want to have him, Hilliard, transition to left field more of the Rosario, and when Michael Harris comes back to center." I think Hilliard's going to be definitely moved to left. I don't think they're going to, if he were to come back tomorrow, I think that would be the case. Now, that being said, with Ozuna going down to AAA, they would have to get, if I'm not mistaken, they would have to get permission from Ozuna to go to AAA. It'd have to be a mutual agreement, basically. Will he do that? I don't know. But if he doesn't, I assume that they would say, all right, well, you're done. You're DFA'd. Pleasure working with you, but, here's your walking papers. I would assume he'd go to AAA and try to come back. There's two ways to, handle that situation. You can handle it like I just mentioned and, do the Adam Duvall route where you go to AAA, you work your tail off and try to get back to the show, or you run out of chances and you're done, So, we'll see. But I can see the situation where he was sent to AAA to try to figure it out too. But again, that's going to have to be a mutual agreement. Thank you, Chris, for tuning in. Let's see. Harris did. Let me see. Somebody just looking for. I just saw. Nick Nodelman. Thank you. Super chatter tonight. He says Harris tonight 1 for 3 with a stolen base. Yeah, he's back. Go ahead and bring him up to the majors. Why not? Miguel says Ozzy has been patient at the plate. He should remove to number 2 spot. Olsen can't make contact. Well, he did hit a homer tonight. I will say that. He did hit a homer tonight. But no, I think a lot of people have brought up that 2-hole spot with Olsen. I've always liked him in that spot, and I think Ozzy's getting a lot of RBIs in the spot he's at. He's, I think, leading. If I'm not mistaken, he's leading the National League in RBIs. So I think he's doing well in that spot. Olsen, he's got Riley to for defense. You got to pitch to Olsen, otherwise you're going to have to pitch to Riley. Problem is, neither one of them are really hitting right now. And I think as time goes on, you'll see that open up, you'll see that get better, and you'll see that develop. But, we'll see how it goes. People are saying they're worried about Olsen. Well, Olsen did, again, hit a homer tonight, and, he's not always going to hit homers. He's not always going to hit 300. Times are going to go bad some points. Everybody has a slump. But I think he'll break out of it. It'd be nice if he broke out of it tomorrow and carried it into the series with the Mets. But we'll see. Guys, remember, we're not going to be able to be here much longer. It is getting late, and I do have neighbors, so make sure to get your questions in. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. Super chats do get priorities, and they also get you entered into this contest for a Atlanta Braves City Connect bobblehead giveaway with our friends at FOCO. Really would like more than 2 super chatters in here tonight, so please do that. That's the only way I can really narrow it down. The other requirements are you have to be following at FOCO USA on Instagram. You have to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Right now, we have 2, and they are Nick Nodelman and Joseph Alvarez. So make sure that you add your name to that list if you want one of those City Connect bobbleheads. It's free of charge. All you got to do is subscribe and like the video and, of course, super chat. Doesn't matter what you could super chat $1, but you'll enter the contest. Let's see. Matt, thank you, new subscriber. Matt, just for that, you're going to enter the contest. I appreciate that. Matt is now in the contest for the FOCO bobblehead. Thank you for that, new subscriber. Always love a new subscriber. Matt, tell your friends about us. I know you got some Braves fans that are friends. Tell your friends about us. We do these streams pretty regular. I try to do it at least once a week. Of course, on nights like this where the Braves actually play, it's a little tough. But, of course, we're here late, and I don't mind doing it at all. Map says, hey, Tyler, we just beat Sandy, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, a.k.a. the best pitcher in baseball. That's how we are. We also have the best record in the league. We should talk more about that. Yeah, I mean, I talked about it pretty extensively in the kind of the prologue or the monologue when I first got in. The Braves are, they're one of the best teams in baseball. We knew that coming into this year. They're playing like it, and a lot of people looked at the that last series with the Astros. Oh, we got swept, but you saw in that series what led to being swept. If you're an educated baseball observer, I'm not even going to call you a fan. I'm going to call you an observer. You watched that series and you saw what I saw. You saw the bullpen was diminished because the starters had been hurt. Starters had not been carrying their weight. And, you saw, I don't think the Astros are just outright better. I think the addition of Colin McHugh yesterday was nice. I think the addition of Raisel Iglesias in a couple of days or week or so, whenever that is, will be nice. I think we stack up with the Astros far better than we stack up with the Marlins. I think the Marlins are just to get by. Today we faced, like Matt Babb said, we faced Sandy Alcantara. I always say his name wrong, but Sandy, we faced him today, and we were able to circumvent that. Yeah, we didn't score any against him other than Ronald Acuna, but we got past him. We eliminated the threat. We took out the boss level, and we moved on to the bullpen. And I think that is what really makes this team great, is they can beat you in a variety of different ways. And again, they have the best record in the league, and that's always great, but they're going to have to keep it up, because the reason I'm not talking about it yet, like you want me to talk about it, is because they're only 3 games up on the Mets. They're 17-8. That's what, 30 or 25 games into the season. They got a long road ahead. So, yeah, they got the best team in the league, but it's not necessarily done. They got a long ways to go. So, we'll see. But let's see. Matt says, you were suggested on YouTube, and I'm here. That memorabilia in the back is sick. Thank you. It was a long time going. I have more than that all around the room. This is just one corner for the set. But, I really do appreciate that. Really, truly do appreciate that. It took a lot of time, a lot of hard work putting this together. One of these days I'm going to have to go through it, but it's pretty extensive. We'd have a very long stream if I did that. Now, that all said, we are going to wrap this up, I think, here in just a minute, unless you guys have a super chat last minute that you want to send in. But remember, and I'm going to give one last read for this so you have an opportunity. FOCO, this is the deal. We're giving away this Atlanta Braves City Connect bobblehead. You can choose. It's your choice between Spencer Strider, Blooper, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Michael Harris II. To win, you're going to follow at FOCO USA on Instagram. You're going to like this video. You're going to subscribe to this channel. And tonight, if you super chat, you do get entered into a contest. So I can basically narrow you guys down. Otherwise, I would be doing this, it would be crazy. But as of right now, we have 2 super chatters. That is Nick Nodelman and Joseph Alvarez. You guys have until, I'm going to give you till 10:55. Oh, Matt, super chats. All right, Matt is in. So we have 3, Nick Nodelman, Joseph Alvarez, and Matt Malk. I think I said that right, Matt Malk. Thank you for subscribing, Matt. And if you're a new subscriber out there, thank you for subscribing as well. I think the way we're going to do this, and because I have no other way of doing it, randomly selecting, is I'm going to just put your name in a random name selector, and we're going to do it that way. But hey, if you win, and I hope all 3 of you guys are still here, so if you're in this conversation, please let me know down below. That's Nick Nodelman, Matt Malk, and Joseph Alvarez. Please let me know you're here. I'm going to need a couple things from you, and I'm going to tell you where to send them. I'm going to need some information, essentially, is what I'm going to need. But I'm going to go ahead and put my email down in the comment section so you can send me what I need. Sorry, guys. I know this is we're going to get better at this. We got more of these coming down the line. But hey, my email is down there below. If you win, send me your first and last name and your address, and I will get that to FOCO, and they will send it to you. Everything is through them, not me. But again, we are going to choose between Matt Malk, Joseph Alvarez, and Nick Nodelman. So to do that, let's go to random selector. Hopefully I can do this right. All right. All right. All right, so, all right, is there anybody else that wants to get in on this? I don't believe so. All right. All right, so we got 3. That's what we're going to do. We got 3. Nick Nottleman, Joseph Alvarez, and Matt Malk. We're going to go ahead and auction this off, and I may do 5 minutes more of what, more talk. What's going on, Garrett? How's it going? Thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. A lot of you guys finding the channel again. You know, every season we go through this finding everybody again because I don't get to do as much during the off season. There's not much to talk about. People kind of disappear and then they come back. So good to have everybody back tonight. Looks like catching you guys after a game is the way to do it. Let's see. Let's go ahead and Garrett, since you just tuned in, I'm gonna do this again. We do have a partnership with FOCO, the City Connect bobblehead, Spencer Strider, Blooper, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Michael Harris II. We are giving one away. To win, this you just got a super chat, basically. I know you already like this video and subscribe to the channel, Garrett. You're always here, so I know you did it. And, of course, super chat down below, and you enter a chance to win this bobblehead. Now, it's one of your choices, so let me know, which one you want. And we'll, of course, go ahead and pick it here in just a minute. So, Garrett, Hatomato's in. We have a lot of on deck, OG on deck fam tuning in. Appreciate that. Always love Hatomato coming in. That's always one we like to see. Now, that all being said, we got to do this contest. Is there any, all right. Time's up. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. So, Joseph Alvarez, Nick Nottleman, and Matt Malk. Those are the guys who are bidding tonight, and let's see who wins. It is Nick Nottleman. Nick, if you're there, email me, Nick. Send me your information. Again, I need your first and last name, address, and the bobblehead you choose. Thank you guys for super chatting. You guys really do appreciate it. Nick, I will get your information to them, and we will get you whichever ones you want. So congrats. Matt, I was rooting for you since you're new. I was rooting for you. I thought beginner's luck would be a sure thing, but I guess not. Nick, congrats. Glad you won it. And, of course, we will have more stuff like this throughout the season through FOCO. I want to give you guys free stuff if I can do it. So, hey, tell your friends about us, okay? Maybe we can get some more stuff going on. And since I got you here, I might as well tell you, if you didn't win tonight, here's what you can do. Joseph Alvarez, Chris Kaysen, I know you guys want it. Go shop on deck. There's merchandise right over there at that QR code. I know you see it. Go check it out. Chris, I'm sorry you're late, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. I wish you could have made it, but I am so sorry. Harris, he wants Harris. Okay, Nick, email me. Email me. I'm putting my email in the chat again. Email me. I need your first and last name, address, and the one you want, okay? Hunter Stevens, be quiet. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you, guys. Chris Fields came in with the late super chat. Really do appreciate that. Matt says not giveaways, but streaming on YouTube. No. We're going to continue to do the streams no matter what, but we will have giveaways periodically. That's not really up to me. That's more up to FOCO. Like, they reached out to me and asked me to promote a free giveaway. So anytime I can, I'd love to do it for you. But no, we did it. And, of course, Nick Nottleman's going to get a free bobblehead. And, of course, Nick, the only other thing, I need proof that you're following at FOCO USA on Instagram. Other than that, we're good. Of course, Matt wants to know how often we stream. You're giving me all the bullet points. We stream at least once a week at some point. I only have so many off days. I work. Full disclosure, Matt, since you're new, I actually am a sports anchor here in Columbus, Georgia. And I do as much as I can when I can. This was actually kind of what got me hired was doing this in a way. But that's what I do 5 days out of the week. And I do as much streaming as I can. I get 2 off days sometimes a week. One of those days I usually spend doing this. I do have a girlfriend too, so I got to, you know how that goes. But I do this as much as I can, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. If I can manage to do a third, I do it. But no, I always love coming and talking baseball with you guys. And as always, thank you guys for checking out the channel. Go Braves. What a win tonight against the Marlins. And again, make sure to go check out the On Deck shop, guys. There's t-shirts, sweatshirts. I meant to wear one tonight. Sweatshirts, beanies, glass bottles. I mean, all the pennants. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And I really would appreciate you guys going to check that out. And look, it's tons of stuff. I took a lot of time designing that stuff. And it's because you guys have been asking me for so long to put merch out there. I need to get myself some of the merch. I think I bought a hat and my brother took it. So you know how that goes. But no, I really would appreciate you guys going to check that out. And of course, you can follow me on social media anytime. Twitter and Instagram right here down below at Tyler Redmond TV. Thank you, Hatomato. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Jake. Really do appreciate it. And I know if you haven't got the merch, go check it out, Jake. I really would appreciate it. That all being said, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We'll see you next time right here at On Deck.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.